first, maybe if you want to introduce yourself, what's your role here at Devolutions, and how long have you been with us, and what you're doing on a daily basis?
11 years now, 10 years. 10 years I've been with Devolutions. My main role right now is to be the product owner of the PAM solution. I also go to trade shows, talk to larger customers, and also the business architecture side of things for, again, these larger customers. That's what I do.
Nice. So today it's a presentation that I've already seen in the past. I think you've improved it for the last couple of days, right? If I'm not wrong. So do you want to start right away? Do you want, we can ask a poll if you want. We're ready. If you have any questions for the audience, so we can start a poll.
I don't know if Jenny is ready with the poll.
She's ready. I can assure you that she's ready.
I forget which one is the first one. Again, this is aimed. Well, they covered the bases already. People need to move to the PAM. They feel they need to move to a PAM solution, and they're worried about how to go about it. So this is a presentation that is targeted to RDM users that are either using, am I too far? Yeah. Local data sources or SQL Server, let's say, be it locally or on SQL Azure. Because as I'll show in my presentation, we can take it to the next step, but it introduces a middle tier, that's for sure, because we need to protect the database at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
So Jenny, I think I see sweat.
What's the what were the
what was the poll question?
Yeah, the poll while Jenny's getting ready for the poll.
I think I was asking.
How many users are created in your system?
Yes, how many users? Because that's a question we do in pre-deployment surveys.
So you're technical users, business users,
technical users for
so IT professionals, sysadmins for PAM solutions, right?
Yeah, because a lot of you guys are using, let's say, in the past, I used to say 25 users.
Before deploying a PAM solution?
Before deploying identity provider integration. Okay. So the Devolution server part, that strength, which is to integrate with AD and Azure AD and Okta now. So because this puts to use the same user groups that you have in your identity provider to manage our role-based access control. And the old sweet spot was 25 users. We would start recommending, well, you need to enroll the roles manually as well as membership to these roles. And that can be an extra task to your IT staff, mistakes, and really just a workload that you should not have to worry about. So by deploying Devolution Server, you would tie in with your identity provider. So that sweet spot, some guys that were 5 users insisted on using AD integration because AD group membership is at the heart of their systems. Mm-hmm. It's the first layer of containment and putting proper users in the proper groups. So for them, it was really huge added value. Some other customers, I said, no, 35, I'm good. I'll do it. I don't have a high employee turnover, but still. So that's why I was asking that question, to see where you guys were. How many users do you have in your systems?
The poll is going to go out live in a few seconds. It is now live, so you can go out and answer in the poll tab. While you guys are answering the poll, are we ready to switch to the presentation? Yeah. Maybe, Jan, if you want to switch to Maurice's.
I've got that amazing slide. I just love it.
I know. Look who's there. Maurice from Sys and Minotaur, by the way.
Not the same Maurice, though.
No, it's not the same. Yeah.
And that's, we used to be a productivity software, I think.
We used to be, and we're still are.
We hide cybersecurity concerns.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
At the first years, it was all about connecting quickly. And if you look at 2010, we were already being told to use password managers.
Yep.
And Jenny was in a show, what was it, 3 weeks ago? And people were saying, well, what's a password manager? To this day.
Yeah, depending on where you are and what kind of shows you're attending.
Yeah.
You can still have a lot of surprising answers. But of course, everybody who logged in today know everything about password management,
That's
right?
the thing. That's the thing.
Of course.
But so 2010 password managers, 2015 there was I won't say a huge campaign, but that's a hashtag turn on 2FA. So we were told, okay, passwords are not sufficient, and you need to turn on MFA, 2FA. So 2015, again, ages ago, in regards to cybersecurity. And so we feel that that's why Maurice is flying upwards. A connection management. So password management plus plus, I say. We need to go further because if you notice, I feel so smart, that yellow thing is a post-it note in 2010. So if you never ever rotate your passwords, your password manager is just a glorified post-it note because staff moves in, moves out. They can copy the passwords. So every time they can see the passwords, it's a huge issue if you do not change them regularly. I know here in our neck of the woods, the healthcare, they have to change all passwords every 90 days. So we have tools for that. But I know that it's a huge concern on the workload. They forget stuff. It's just crazy. But if you think about it, not changing passwords is a huge concern. Then you have connection launcher, secure credential injection. If you know Remote Desktop Manager, you know this is our strength, really never revealing passwords. And Dave was doing that 10 years ago. So he found the secret to injecting RDP credentials so you would not have to play around with them. So for us, it's a hurdle, getting passwords, looking at now I'm still talking about RDM, looking at the VPN, all of these concerns are just hurdles that you need to jump over to reach your goal, which is to connect to an asset and manage it. You need to do your daily tasks day in, day out quickly. So for us, having that connection launcher and that secure credential injection is key. Obviously, you tag on role-based access control and auditability, and that's already you've made a huge step in your security posture.
Then the next step, right?
The next step, and that's the poll mentions that really almost to the single word. It's PAM needs to be put in place. We need to discover accounts. We need to be warned when there's a rogue admin account that appears. You need to take control of certain accounts and put all of that nice icing on that cake, your password rotation, validating that the password has not changed. So again, for some of our users, it's an incident because who had changed the password if it's different than your database. So this is an alert, but in some other cases, well, it's just business as usual. So again, these features you can put them in place in order for you to reach really the utmost security. I have until 30.
1:30, yeah.
9 minutes left.
Yep.
8 minutes left.
Yep. You can do it.
I can do it.
Yeah, of course.
So this is where we're at right now. This is Devolutions. Up top, obviously, our
Remote Desktop Manager,
as the
core part of our platform.
Our champion.
Yeah, exactly.
We're at the Tour de France, and everyone else is ensuring that the leader of the pack wins the Tour de France.
Oh, wow. That's a good analogy.
I won't say Lance Armstrong.
I like that.
Because he's...
Oh, yeah, I won't say anything. No, it's all right. Let's keep it that way.
And then I'll move clockwise. Password management, Devolutions Password Hub.
Yep.
So this is really a SaaS offering, a cloud-based offering that has password management. But what is key is that it is an advanced data source for Remote Desktop Manager. So it doesn't only contain passwords.
Yeah, absolutely. And we released Password Hub last year.
Yep.
And we have more than 400 customers now using it.
Yep.
And 90% of them are actually using Remote Desktop Manager alongside of Password Hub for a cloud-based repository for Remote Desktop Manager, actually.
And with our Devolutions WebLogin extension, it's so easy to use.
Devolutions WebLogin. We're going to talk about that later on with Max, but Devolutions WebLogin for web entries and Workspace for mobile app applications with that connects to password.
Workspace. I could not. I have the phone in my pocket. I wanted a video of Workspace because it's amazing. For PAM checkout workflows, we're still struggling with the firewalls. So we'll security is in place. So at the lowest part, you see remote access management. So the Devolutions Gateway. So those that know Devolution Server know that we've published it already in as part of our Devolution Server offering last year. But now it's moving across the platform because if we go back up to the left-hand side, you see the PAM, you see Devolution Server. But what is key is that, again, that middle layer, the PAM and the hub, are both really elevating you to a next level because you're not connecting to the database anymore. We'll see that later on. So this translates to tiers of all the rage now. It's in fashion. So we have our own tiers. At the lowest tier is network management. So what RDM does really well, okay? But still you have moderate to low security requirements. Then you move to the next level, productivity and control, high security requirements. And we'll see that's where our other products come in. And then governance and security, really the most stringent security requirements. And we've translated that, and these are features, these are aspects of your cybersecurity posture. These have a different weight as to where you are in your cybersecurity posture, into which compliance level you need to meet, and so on. So this is really almost a scale. But you see in the middle, the second tier, obviously, isolated database is key. Having that identity provider support. So that's AD, Azure AD, Okta. So you need to tie in with a provider of identities. Then you have syslog, alerts, and notifications. So again, it comes to this. So on Remote Desktop Manager, you build with Devolution Server or Hub to reach a next level of control because you're hiding the database. And then to reach tier 1, then you pair Devolution Server, the PAM, and the gateway, and that's where you meet the most stringent requirements. But you know our strength. You know, we're not all in or all out. You can deploy Devolution Server in a matter of hours. You can take control of privileged accounts, like the little few that you want to take control for day one, and get used to it and put the patterns and practices in place. And then you discover more and more accounts. You add on more and more devices. And that's where we outshine the competition because you can scale with us and it's easy to deploy. Again, robust, easy to deploy, affordable. That's
it.
That's our goal.
Yep.
Our goals.
That's our vision. That's the vision that we have. And we've during the intro, we were talking about, security challenges. And nowadays, when you mentioned like 12 years ago in terms of password management, but nowadays every organization, in my opinion, need a robust PAM platform. Nonetheless, of how many users they have, it's like implementing the next step for security in your infrastructure.
Almost all accounts are privileged in some fashion.
I used to work with Gartner, and at the time I said, finance is using privileged accounts, marketing, sales,
the LinkedIn
HR. Nowadays, there's a lot of privileged accounts to manage in organizations, and I'm sure a member of the audience can agree with that. I mean, there's a lot of sensitive data to access with different accounts in the business.
Can we show the next few slides? And then I guess I'll be done. But you can come back at 2. I'll do that Devolution Server roadmap, and we'll see a lot of this again, not mentioned per se, but intermixed into that presentation.
Yeah.
Because that's the old style of doing things. Each remote desktop manager would connect to the database, and you see, what? It's not encrypted? Yes, it is. But still, just erasing a log, because every user needs to create logs, but erasing a log is really risky if you need to be SOC 2, SOC 3, ISO 27001. If you need to be compliant, you need to protect the database. And so you cannot have accounts that connect to the database. But it's been our strength for the get-go.
Yep.
People loved it. I want my database account to be to connect directly from Remote Desktop Manager because it's easy. It just works fine. We were there. But if you want to elevate, that's where you need to put in a middle layer.
Well, not only elevate, but I mean, security challenges have evolved throughout the years. Okay, so it's not the same. We're not living in the same world now that we used to in 2012, 2014. So the security challenges have evolved, and now our solutions have evolved as well.
Right.
To actually, you weren't talking about productivity at first with Devolutions back in the days, and we're still offering, as you know, a lot of you are using Remote Desktop Manager, but what we did for the last 3-4 years now is add those extra layers of security.
You see it on the screen. Encryption at rest, encryption in transit. It's everywhere. We've added more and more security. And so behind the scenes, it's not features that are sexy and that make you, oh, well, I need to update RDM to the latest version, but they are key. And that's where we're at right now, because the bad guys are way ahead of us if we don't really try to keep up with them. And then, you know,
we're going to send out your presentation to attendees after the event, so don't worry, Maurice. I don't know if you want to closing remarks on the presentation here, but we'll send out the presentation. Maurice is going to also be available through the session breakout room if you want to connect with Maurice, and he's going to be back at 2:20 later on to talk furthermore about Devotion Server. Thanks for. Can we also? There's a question right there for SSH connections. Can we also have Devotion Server to manage SSH connections?
Yeah, private keys and or passwords for authentication. I don't know if that's the question.
Yeah,
and even the gateway supports it. We didn't see the gateway. Come see us at 2.
yeah. And if you have more specific questions in the sessions tab, you can access all the customer success team along with Maurice.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
Erica is there.
Yeah,
really active.
And don't hesitate to send out questions in the chat box. We're gonna answer each of them. And there's a lot of people here from Devolutions actually monitoring that chat box to answer all your questions. So yeah, thanks, Maurice. Sorry for I believe I went a little bit too far with the intro here, but as usual, you're
so
gonna.
Good.
I apologize for that.